Hi YouTube, Patty from IrishTwist here, bringing you a yarn video. Been talking to you about some yarn that I got and a finished project that was a whip that I was doing for several months, but having fun while doing it. And a nice surprise because it ended up being something else than I thought it would be, but it worked out. In my last video, I was talking about this project, and I was initially going to make it into a shawl, not using a pattern, just kind of winging it on my own, trying to be creative, and using a finger weight yarn with the stockinette stitch, where this is all knit and you have purl on the other side and the inside. So as I had it all along and casted it off the needles, I started to put it around me as a shawl, and I said, it's not really fitting the way that I had envisioned it when it was on the needles. Oddly enough, I would put it up to my neck, and then it would be let's say too much this way, but not enough in the back, and so forth, and just kept adjusting it and said it's not really working out. But I wasn't concerned about that. I ended up getting a little crochet hook, which I believe I still have over here. 3.5 millimeter hook for the fingering weight yarn, and ended up making crocheted shells, mostly like on the edges here. And then as I was playing with this piece of work around the garment, around my neck and everything in the mirror, I said, oh, I can actually, wow, is this working? I can actually form it into a sweater. So I started to play with stitch markers and everything, just to kind of let it stay put without me trying to hold it up and everything as this big project, and said, I really think this will work. So that's what I did. I ended up stitching it from the inside, meaning that the seams on the outside are nice and clean. You don't have the bumpiness of the fabric. That's where I stitched it up. So this way on the outside it's a nice clean edge, and ended up making it into a sweater. So I made the sleeves like this, and I ended up doing the crocheted border around the sleeves and this sleeve as well. And I thought it was just like a nice touch to go with the crocheted border. I ended up using the same yarn as this yarn that I used from Cascade Yarns, hand painted yarn. I ended up just doubling the yarn. Again, it's a finger weight yarn, so I doubled it to do the shells, make it like a DK weight. So it just made it a little bit more bulkier for the detail. But I'm very happy with it. The stockinette stitch just curled a little bit. I do have some garter over here, but I was actually happy with that because it made a nice collar as well. So there you have it. It's a nice merino wool with nylon sweater, and I'm very, very happy with it. It's actually my first sweater I've ever knitted before. I started knitting about 2 years now, making little things like I was brand new with it and learning a lot, especially on YouTube, asking my mother, just learning from different things and really grasping on and started to read patterns and everything, and just kept building up on that knowledge, and was merely making like washcloths and blankets and stuff, and this is my first sweater, so I'm really thrilled that I was able to do that, and I'm going to continue trying to make sweaters. In fact, I have a nice pattern which I can give you the link to. I did purchase up this particular pattern on Etsy, so I'll give you the link of where I had purchased it from. But it gives me like a nice pattern with, you know, instructions and everything. But what it does is it is in progress. One of my WIPs, I am doing this kind of thing. It's going to be a jacket, like a coat. This, it doesn't look like a coat right now, but this will be the back, so it's going to be really long, and then it will of course connect to the sleeves and then the front. But these are just stitch markers that I'm using to make it easier to know when I'm changing the stitch here. I kind of do a knitted here, a purl here, with pearls in between, you know, as the pattern shows me. And I did a nice ribbing. Try to get that better in the camera. Nice ribbed edge at the bottom. So this jacket warm coat is actually knitted from the bottom down. So you knit, the instructions say knit it up to the sleeves, and then you start to increase to make the sleeves. So that's in progress, and I'm very excited about that. I am using Ella Rae Chunky Merino Superwash wool. This is a skein that wasn't wound yet, so for those that are new, don't do what I did when I first very first used a skein. It wasn't merino wool, thankfully. It was just some other brand thing. I don't remember, but it wasn't wool or anything. And I was, you know, my first time I was using balls, so I would just naturally use it from how it was wound in a ball, but didn't know that I needed to wind this in a ball or something before I use it. So the reason why I mention this is for people that, like myself, who didn't know. Don't use it in a hank. This is what a hank is. You can wind it into a ball. This is kind of my crummy looking ball, but I had carefully put it into a ball, and I'm stitching with it, or you can put it into a yarn cake with a winder, things like that. So this Ella Rae is Chunky Merino Superwash wool with it's 3.52 ounces or 100 grams. It's 136 yards or 125 meters, and it's suggested, let's see, to use US K 10.5 or 6.5 to 9 millimeter hooks. So I am or using a US 9 to 11 or a 5 to 8 millimeter needles. So this project is using 6.5 millimeter knitting needles, and I'm using my favorite needles. I treated myself, and I got pointed edge lantern moon needles, and I use this type of needles for a lot of projects, and I just absolutely love it. But yeah, any kind of knitting needle would work, and it's your preference whether you want blunt edge or pointed edge. But I'm doing mine on a 40-inch cord, so that there'll be enough room for my project. And yeah, I'm really excited. So I just made sure that, of course, with my project, it does tell me, like I'm sure a lot of other patterns do, how much yarn that you will need for your size. This is called the Box Stitch Knit Cardigan. So this is just printed from the internet, but again, I will provide the link for those that are interested in it, that I did purchase it from Etsy. It wasn't too much money. I'm sorry, I don't remember how much it was, but I'll provide that down below in the description. And the nice part is it tells you how much you would need for different sizes. It does go from small to 3XL. From the length from like 27 inches to 30 inches. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot and see. The other thing I wanted to show you is I finished my gloves. Got a little button that I put on there as well. Really like it. It's a 4-weight yarn, merino wool, and really the button is just for show. Just it was just pretty. I thought, like an embellishment, because you got this break here of fabric, and the reason for that is because it's a fingerless glove. I wanted it so that it's fingerless, so you can use your hands for whatever you need. You're in the car, you turn it on. There's something that, or you got to do something with your phone. You don't want to be wearing a mitten, and then you can't use your fingers. So how many times in the winter time have I had some kind of gloves on, and I had to pull it off just to use my fingers? But then your hands get cold because it's winter time. So I wanted to try to create something that had this flap. So to show you, I kind of fitted it to my hand and everything. Did it without a pattern. I'm not anti-pattern. I just got into the mood to just try to create it myself and figure, well, if it doesn't work out, that's how I learned, and I could just frog it and try it again. But it seemed to work out, and I was proud of that. So this I just made like a mitten. I made a ribbing at the bottom. This is actually a 3-inch ribbing, and then I did the seed stitch here with the knitting needles, and then this is a separate piece. So this will come over like that, and you can use your fingers. My pinky's right over there. My thumb is closed, but that was my preference. I just wanted to I don't know, keep it warm or something. It's kind of hard to think of it now because it is summertime and it's 80 something degrees outside, but I was just thinking of like wintertime, maybe I won't really need my thumb as much as my fingers for phone and things like that, and you still want to be warm. So that was my thought process. I really like the neutral color, like the brown. I figure then I could just flip it back up like this, and then I could have my mittens. So yeah, really liked how that turned out, and I made a pair of them, of course. So I am actually working on the same matching yarn. I'm gonna do a cowl neck, kind of like a small scarf around my neck, using the same seed stitch. So we'll see how that turns out. I've made plenty of cowl necks, even for people like friends. The reason why I say see how it works out, because for the first time I'm going to try to make it with a hood, just to do it. Just really to challenge myself, I guess. I made it so that it's long enough to go over my head, and then when I complete it, I'll know how it worked out. But it'll be like really warm and bundled here, but then go over my head. So I'll keep you guys updated as I finish that project. But yeah, so that's my my project so far. I wanted to share that with you. Certainly you can leave in the comments if you have anything you want to talk about, or what kind of project you guys are doing. The beauty of this one, not that I'm saying Ella Ray is like the only yarn you can use. Any chunky base yarn, any chunky weight yarn you can use for the pattern, for the coat. But this did come from my local yarn shop, and it came in a variety of colors. The pattern on Etsy is shown in white, which is really, really beautiful too. I picked this blue. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what color this is. This is, let's see, Starboard. So it's the color Starboard. So yeah, it's like a turquoise blue. And that happens to be my favorite color, so it really struck me. So it's going to be a bright blue coat, but you know what? It's going to be warm, and it's going to be something that I'm very, very proud of. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching and staying tuned. I mentioned in my previous video that I do watch a lot of other yarn videos of people posting about blogs and so forth, and I thought, well, I have things to share, and maybe I'll start putting up some videos on YouTube about that. And if you guys find that interesting, you know, let me know. And yeah, I can continue doing this. But you guys take care and stay safe. Bye bye.